Surfshack Tito, I know you. You'll get yours in your dreams, your nightmares.
It was only a matter of time before we got around to talking about the big guy you see in every one of these videos. In my opinion, one of the most underrated trolls that Chris ever encountered, good old Surfshack Tito. And today I want to tell you the story about Tito, because a lot of people are really not informed on what Tito was about, how many correspondences he had with Chris. You'd be surprised at like the little amount of time Tito ever had like on camera or just on recording. But that's what I want to do here today, is just give you all a little rundown on the feud between Surfshack Tito and Chris Chan and just the bad blood that boiled between them. There's so much good shit in this saga, including a love triangle between Chris, Tito, and the Wallflower, a Sony hacking done by Tito, you know, the great Sony hacking of like 2011. Tito took he took responsibility for that one. So much funny shit going on. But to avoid confusion between myself and the real Surfshack Tito, when we talk about Tito, we'll use this picture on screen here if need be. But just so you know, I'm talking here, we'll use this picture that good old GP Does drew of Tito. He drew this one for me apparently in one of his videos, and it's great art. Go sub to GP Does, great guy. And yeah, with that being said, let's talk about how Tito slipped into Chris's reality, how he became one of Chris's most feared and most hated trolls. I think to start off, it's really important to talk about how Surfshack Tito is a character from the Nickelodeon cartoon Rocket Power. And it's really funny when you think that Chris, deep down in his mind, really thought he was arguing with the cartoon character from Rocket Power at some points. Like, it's pretty obvious to say now, but honestly, Chris really has always thought that cartoon characters were real. It's nothing new. But what really pissed Chris off about Tito was that Tito hacked his PlayStation account. Now, obviously this happened to Chris many times and due to the faults of many people, but it was a bit different with Tito here, because not only would he initially take the blame for hacking Chris's account, but a year later he would take the blame for hacking the entire PlayStation network, and we'll get to that later. Oh, will we get to that later. But Tito's hack was a little different than the rest, because in his, they discovered all the downloadable unnecessary content that Chris had been buying. You know, the thing that Lars references in the boats video. I got paint packs for boats I don't even own. You know, this was where they found out, like, holy shit, Chris just buys DLC for the fact that he wants to support Sony rather than just having it for games he plays. Now, that's the reason that Chris was initially mad at Tito. But the thing that really drove Tito, like, to really be something that Chris, like, absolutely despised was his involvement in the situation with the Wallflower. And that's because Tito is the one that, after things broke down with Chris and the Wallflower, well, he was the one who said, yeah, I'm with her now and all this bullshit. Eventually, later on in the situation, when the Wallflower got so sick of Chris, she just said, fuck it, yeah, me and Tito are together. Like, I mean, this bitch went with it too. You know how mad that must have drove Chris, and you're about to see how mad that drove Chris. But to put you in the mindset of Chris in this particular situation, he was going after that chick, the Wallflower. He was like trying to impress her because she liked some Irish band, and so he was wearing a fucking kilt and stuff. He was just acting so unlike Chris, but just to try to impress this girl. And he decided in this attire, this would be a good time to call out Tito. Just let him know what's what.
Tito! Listen to me, you son of a bitch. Your days are numbered. I have forwarded your admission to Heather, and also the gal pal that we know between us, our Scarlet. And with great honor and glory, I will take pleasure in beating up your ass, and also regain the love and trust and friendship of Heather. Either way, you are going down, Tito. One way, two ways.
What a fucking kick. I think at this point, though, he's kind of chilling out here. He may have pulled something with that one.
Or three.
I don't even know what he just did. Did he just pull a pin on a grenade?
Ah, you wee laddie. You're not gonna get the lassie today. I kick your ass with me shillelagh and my ring man.
So not only did Chris think that like Tito was with her, but this all started because Tito took the fall, and Chris thought that he was the one who doxed her initially, because that was when her info got out there and she was just pissed about all the shit going on. She told Chris she never wanted to talk to him again. It was bad times for Chris, but honestly, there's not much info out there on the Wallflower. But, you didn't hear this from me, and I'm not going to tell y'all where to go, but if you look into her enough, there's some really fucking weird shit out there on the Wallflower. But nonetheless, yeah, Chris was heated. Like, he was scalding over the thought that Tito is getting in the way of my relationship. You know how he reacted every time someone had tried to involve themselves in his sweetheart, like, dilemmas before. He was pissed. And, while all this is going on, an email exchange took place between these two, which is something that I'm going to read here, but do not expect me to be able to hold my composure, because this is going to make me lose it. I'll have the quickie article linked in the description below if you guys want to go see this, because this is where we're getting this email log from. And when I tell y'all that Tito stays in character the whole time, it's one of the funniest things, because at this point, remember, you've never seen Tito, you've never heard Tito, but this email exchange gives you a good insight as to who the man really is. So Tito starts the emails by emailing Chris. by emailing Chris in all capitals except for the quote at the end there. And it reads, "I have information on," and then in brackets, "Wallflower, my fat little cousin." "Hey there, little cuz. I can't believe you fell for my little spy. Well, you are pretty dumb. Anyway, now that I tricked you, I threw her information to the trolls. Ah ha ha. In the mail, you should see a pic of me at the right and your boyfriend at the left." I guess he means girlfriend. I don't know what he really meant by that one. Nonetheless, as the ancient Hawaiians used to say, the coconut is always sweeter on the palm you can't reach. Your friend Tito. And as it says at the bottom there, the above email was attached with a picture of the Wallflower, cropped with a guy, a big Polynesian guy, kind of looking like Tito. Chris fell for it pretty easily, as you'd expect. And Chris's response back is short and to the point. The subject line says, "You are not even my acquaintance, period." And then it says, "Fuck off, you goddamn troll." Tito responds, "Sorry, little cuz, it wasn't my fault. You leaked her pen name in your Little Big Planet level. I just had to Google it and got all her nasty gay porn writings. Have you even read her writings? They're all about men having sex with men. Like the one she wrote about guys from Ghost Hunters having sex. It's pretty gay stuff. I'll quote one of her fictions in my next emails. So long, brudda. And as the ancient Hawaiians say, he who carves himself in stone has rocks in his head." All right, well, I take that back. I guess Tito kind of broke character in that one. That was just a normal email from someone criticizing him. But I'd be remiss not to mention that Chris himself was the one who leaked the name of the Wallflower, which led to all the trolls getting her info. But because Tito was the first one to act on it and go after her, I think that the first one to reveal it, even though it was probably Clyde Catcher or someone, I'm not sure who actually revealed it. It might have been Tito. But yeah, Chris put all of that shit on him. Not on Chris, on Tito. Chris responds to that one with, "I see. I am fully aware of her fan fictions, and I do not judge her by that. I, Christian Weston Chandler, like lesbians and their sexual encounters. That does not make me queer or weird. Aside from the Googling, you surely have had a hand in the creation of that page on the Quickie and the mockery that was typed on said page. She is a beautiful woman." So that's Chris's response to all the stuff wrote about old Wallflower and her weird fan fictions. And now Tito jumps right back into character by saying, Tito responds, "You sound awfully insecure, little cousins. The dudes from Ghost Hunters boning each other in the buttholes ain't lesbian. Sorry to break it to you." Frowny face. "I think lesbians are pretty hot myself, but a threesome of Jaden Yuki, Yugi Muto, and Maximilian Pegasus aren't quite the hot lesbians you're thinking of. And you're right, that Stephen King lady thing is beautiful. And you can read what he said at the end there. Chris responds with another short reply saying, "Enough. You still have not answered my firm fact that you created that page on the Quickie." I guess it's the page about the wallflower that doxed her. It was like I said, it was because Chris said the name Damien Antaria. And that name led trolls to look up, oh, who's that? And then by that, they found who she was. Chris, you're the one who said her name in the first place. Tito responds, "Smooth moo, the laddie." I assume this is after the Irish video. "I forgot to mention, little cousin, I have tasted the flesh that was," and then in brackets, the wallflower, because I guess he said her real name. And remember, there's that weird thing where a lot of the moderators on the Quickie agreed, hey, we're just not going to put her name there because they came to some agreement. I don't know the whole story behind that, but that's why her name is constantly redacted. "She got moist over my ancient Hawaiian saying, 'It's time for a dickie.'" Surfshack Tito rules. P.S. Nice undies, and sends Chris a picture of Chris in his underwear that got leaked online. "If you wear something underneath your kilt, it counts as a skirt, dumbass." Oh, never mind. It's that clip of Chris kicking really high that showed his underwear. As the ancient Hawaiians used to say, "Smooth moo, the bonehead." These kill me, bro. These kill me. In response, Chris simply sends Tito this picture of himself. He was so pissed. And if you don't believe he was pissed, just wait until you see these next few emails. "You are the bonehead, crapboard and airhead." Whoa, oh, what a burn. "Watch your back. I will find you. I have connections, and after the meet and greet, I will kick your sorry ass and punch your bulbous gut so far up it shoots out your head right through your skull. I will find you." Oh my god, listen how intimidating Liam Weston Neeson sounds over here. Chris really thinks like, oh, Tito's gonna be cowering, like, oh no, Chris and his connections, not his connections. And then he sends another email, and this one shows you he's real mad. "Sit, spin, and shut the fuck up." You can see what I just blurred out right there. And if you don't, you might be sitting there thinking, oh man, Chris Chant wouldn't say that. He would never say that word in that same phrase almost exactly in a video. Well, you'll be surprised in a few minutes, my friends. "And I will call you that right in your face." Chris is making it known, like, hey, my dad used to do it and I'll do it too. Chris responds again, "Dude, you are not her boyfriend. Fuck off. You goddamn trolling stupid," and then he drops another hard R. Like I said, he is angry. If Chris is dropping M-bombs like it's nothing, you know that this guy's really gotten to him. And it turns out that Chris is the only one being fed up, because Tito himself has now had it up to here with Chris, and he's about to respond to Chris as well. So Tito has a long email, and it doesn't seem like it's in the perspective of Tito again. It just seems like it's like a normal response, but let's go ahead and read it. "I'm sorry it took me so long to reply because I couldn't stop laughing at this whole, quote, 'I will kick your sorry ass and punch your bulbous gut,' quote, noise." It is a good line. "A man-child who claims to have such strength yet gets tired after humping a console for 1 minute, you lazy sap. You're so lazy you don't even fight your own fights. How am I supposed to be scared of that? All you seem to do is punch cameras and throw Yosemite Sam types of tantrums. The only thing that I'm afraid of is being anywhere near that walking health hazard that is you. Seriously, I don't think you even bathe. I've seen guys in fucking burger joints with better complexion than you, and their head first in the grease. Do you even have hair? I'm glad you embraced your inner homo with that skirt of yours. It's almost as gay as that bra and panty pic you took a while back that I'm still washing my eyes out with bleach. P.S. Cut the child out of man-child and leave Wallflower alone." There's the redacted name again. "I'm surprised she hasn't filed a restraining order on your naive ass at this point. As the ancient Hawaiians used to say, the seagull that flies a crooked path has a rough time returning home." The quotes kill me every time. And then, as you can see on screen, Chris responded one final time to Tito saying, "Do not contact me ever again. I know Wallflower is not doing anything with you, and she does not even know who you are. You can just go shoot yourself in the head and die. Wow, Chris. Wow, Chris. You damn trolling, stupid, pickle suited. Well, he said it again. And as I said before, he says all these things in a video about Tito that we're going to look at right now.
Tito, you stay away from Heather, you son of a bitch. You have no right taking her from me like that, you womanizing rapist. And if you go near her again, and I will find you. I will find you. I will cut you up. I'll beat you up. I'll knock you on your backside, stand on your gut like a log roller, and roll your fat right through your skull. Rolling it wide open. Because that's what you deserve, you goddamn womanizing, raping, trolling, stupid, pickle-suited And don't you dare contact me in my email again, or contact me ever. You stay away from me in contact. Don't call me. I will find you.
Like, he goes from one extreme to the next. Like, you can't just call this dude the hard R and then immediately go, oh, by the way, don't you ever contact me and talk to me again. But by the way, I will find you. Again, he's on this tip of like, man, I'm going to go out and get this motherfucker for what he did to my girl who I was never even with in the first place and really never even liked me. There's a story, right? There's a story, and it's my favorite story, about Chris and the Wallflower. It's getting a little bit off topic here, but I promise you guys you'll love this one if you've never heard it. Chris, when he was planning a date with the Wallflower one time, one of his suggestions, like Chris at the time being like late 20s or early 30s, at least maybe 29, probably 29 at the time, he suggested to the Wallflower, yeah, we can go out on a date, maybe to Taco Bell. Who are you going to bring for your adult chaperone? My mom is going to be mine. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, we talked about how creepy he is in the Ivy video with women, but like, how can you say that? Like, I know Chris mentally can't comprehend the fact that women won't like that, but it's like he's so adamant that, oh, I need to find a sweetheart. I need to find a girl. Like, in the Blue Spike call, he says, oh, I know what a woman sounds like. I know how to talk to women and all that shit. When it's like, Chris, for the love of God, no woman above the age of, like, fucking 12 is going to be like, cool, I'll bring my mom to this date too. Like, no, Chris. It all stems from Bob and Barb's paranoia about the trolls, wanting to vet any woman or any person that came into Chris's life to make sure they weren't a troll. And this is another product of that. You know, put aside the fact that they met in real life at like some weird meetup. It was like an icebreaker for people who can't communicate or something. I don't know, like to make new friends, some shit. And that's where they met. But that wasn't enough for Barb not to realize, oh shit, this might be a troll. Maybe even Chris just assumed that's what had to happen, that he had to bring his mom. I don't know. But that's just a story that I always remember anytime I hear about the Wallflower. It's such a weird fucking thing for Chris to do. But it's not to not be expected from him. Because look what he did on the date with Emily, where the Pickle Man showed up. But that's about the Wallflower. We're here to talk about Tito. And after this video, Chris and Tito, you know, they didn't really talk much again. After the Wallflower shit wrapped up, a lot of the trolls went their separate ways. Tito wasn't really someone who Chris talked about much. But about 6 months later, Tito would make a return. He would make a return when Chris tried to destroy his own PS3 to try to win $9,001 from the trolls. He really thought this was going to work because the trolls put out a hit on Chris's PS3. Anyone who can show that they destroyed it would win $9,000. And Chris came up with this brilliant idea. Well, holy shit, I'll just destroy it myself. So he did it. And then when he got in touch with Clyde about it, he was like, Clyde, I destroyed it, so give me the money. Clyde was like, well, you got to talk to Surfshack Tito about that one. He controls all the finances. And Tito basically just told him, nah, we're not going to pay you. In the rules, it says that Christian Weston Chandler is not a real participant. And Chris had a fucking freak out, as you could expect. This was around the time when Barb, he initially told Barb, oh, well, you know, I accidentally broke it stopped working. But then they came to find out the real reason, and Barb felt so bad they either gave him some money to buy a new one or just straight up bought him a new one. But that was another reason that Tito really stuck in Chris's craw, because when Chris went through all the arduous work of destroying his own PS3, Tito was one of the people who rejected him that sweet 9K that he was promised in the fine print, but he didn't read enough to find out that he himself was not eligible to win. But then after that, another year passed. No Tito. Chris goes on an elongated absence from the internet, and then he comes back. He comes back about a year later in 2011, September 2011, to come back and initiate the Calling Out saga. It was that period of time where Chris went away from the internet for a while, and then he came back to kind of put it to the trolls and say, listen, I have info on all of you. Info that was given to him by a troll-driven source. It was just pictures of random people said to be the trolls. But Chris took this shit and ran with it. And the first person he wanted to call out, the first person he wanted to get something from, was old Surfshack Tito.
Attention, citizens of the internet. I am making a return. Y'all should know me by now, if in case you don't. I am Christian Weston Chandler, the original creator of Sonichu and Rosechu and the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon. Firstly, upon that note, I would like to inform everyone that it was originally meant to be a TVY7 rated, friendship, socializing, promoting type of series.
I'm not going to jump in as often as I always do, but I have to stop it here and say that even long before this video, the one Chris is making in this time period was made, Sonichu was never a TVY7 franchise. Maybe back within his first or two, I had never read Sonichu, but maybe back when Chris was in high school, he thought, man, this is going to be a good kid's book. But the second he started talking about sex and relationships, that shit could get thrown out the window. Sonichu was the farthest thing from a TVY7 related something, and Chris, he'll never understand that. He thinks I can talk about all the bullshit in my real life, my love quest to find a woman to lose my virginity to, and that's still really appropriate for all these friggin' 7-year-olds to hear.
It is not meant to be taken otherwise in any adulterous forms. And with that, I will now continue with why I am making my return. I am ready to initiate negotiations and paybacks with the trolls and cyberbullies that have been defiling me within the past 5 years, within the past 4 years. Firstly, I would like to make it well known that I have information of such trolls and cyberbullies, of which, at that point, if I released them, they could be easily trolled back by anyone. And the first among the chopping block I would like to ensue, Surfshack Tito, or should I say, Don in Michigan. And I'm not saying that he's a total fat person, but he would make the really big Buddha look like a supermodel in comparison. In fact, with his looks, he could be a Rasta Buddha.
It's the second time since that one call with Clyde Cash that Chris has proved that he knows nothing of Jamaican culture, considering that he thinks this clearly Hawaiian man is Rastafarian.
And I show you only a fragment of the photograph.
Oh, he got you, Tito! Look out!
Now, Don, let's talk business. If you do not want me to reveal the entire photograph, or any of the remainder of your information of which I have upon my possession, you will follow my demands. And they are listed as such. I want you to come forward with your participation in PlayStation Network hackings directly to Sony Computer Entertainment America and Sony Computer Entertainment Japan with a live video, unaltered, well, slightly altered. You may blur your face. That is the only option that you get, blurring your face. you will apologize to Sony and myself for hacking into the PlayStation Network at all, because I know you are responsible for that.
I love how Chris just has to specify and myself in that one, because, you know, he wants Tito to apologize to Sony for fucking up their business for 3 straight months, and also apologize to me because I didn't get to play any video games that summer. You know, it was brutal. But I will say this, being a kid who had a PS3 around that time period, it was brutal. That was like, when the fuck is this gonna end? I remember it felt like the most amazing feeling finally getting back online, but yeah, Chris, you need to apologize to Chris specifically, and all the Sony executives, all the people who worked on the PS3, all the people who keep it up and running, and Chris.
And also, I would like you to, within that same video or in a separate video, apologize directly to my ex-girlfriend Heather and her family. You may even call them up on the telephone that you are the one among which responsible for pretending to be me and stopping that relationship between us. Because I would like to have peace between my past friends, because I don't like there to be bad things and ill tidings between people. And I know it was partially my fault too on that, by the way, within that relationship breakup. But anyway, moving on with my demands.
Yeah, let's blame Tito for how my relationship with the Wallflower ended and make him want to call them and apologize and jump through all these hoops to make it right. But me, even though it was my fault too, let's just, moving on to the next one. I take responsibility, moving on. But you, Tito, no, you got a list of shit you gotta do, motherfucker. What he's talking about here is he finally spilled the Wallflower's real name, and that's the relationship he's talking about. He refers to her as an ex-girlfriend, even though she never really had any interest in him at all, and they were never a couple. They never went that far. But Chris really, he considers everyone he had a crush on or anyone he tried to court, he considers them an ex, which is it's weird. It's weird, right? Like, am I not the only one who thinks that's fucking weird?
I would also like you to send me via U.S. mail $1,000 cash.
And that's where he fucked up, because someone then informed him that it was not legal to demand cash from somebody in order to suppress information that you have. It's kind of called blackmail, and Chris walked that one back real quick in a video we're going to look at in just a minute here. But you may be wondering, man, why have we never heard from Surfshack Tito? We've seen emails, we've seen Chris bitch about him. Why have we never, heard the man in action? And well, ladies and gentlemen, that's because Surfshack Tito stayed hidden in his little cabana by the water for many, many moons, just writing Chris, trolling him, playing his ukulele to his heart's content, finally falling asleep and waking up to the seagulls chirping in the morning. All this time, Tito laid on his beach, completely calm without a care in the world until this moment, when he found out that Chris had some information out there on him.
Hey, little cuz, or Christian Weston Chandler, if you prefer. It's me, Tito, or Don. Listen, man, I got some sand in the potato salad this time. You caught me, cuz. I admit it. I sold the security files of Sony to the hackers, and I'll get you the money. I'll get you the $1,000 and the interest. Just don't release that video with the picture of me. Just don't do any more, man. I'll do anything. I'll be a slave for a whole week if I have to. I got people after me. I can't have them finding out who I am. Just be a cuz, man, and don't let me down. I won't let you down.
And that, to my knowledge, my friends, is the only time Tito's voice was ever heard. And it was spoken to plead to Chris about, please don't release that info. Yes, I hacked Sony, but I got people after me, little cuz. and Tito here, his pleas did not go unheard, because Chris would respond soon and let Tito know what was up.
Well, it seems I have gotten a well-wise response to my recent videos from Master Don, of which I will now respond to as thus. you made a wise decision, Don. As long as I get the money before the end of the month, I will withhold the photographs and the other information. I can promise you that. But miss the deadline, and you certainly don't have to be my slave for a week. I mean, aside from the slave laws and everything. Anyway.
And after that, as I said, Chris walked back the shit about money really quick, and then he continued to call out a few more trolls, like Thorg, and then even Alec Benson Leary. But this was all cut short because Bob, Chris's father, passed away just, I think, a few weeks or a few days after all this shit came out. It was September of 2011 when Bob died. And Chris went on another hiatus from the internet, and around that time, a lot of the trolls that initially fucked with him all fell off. This was the last time, to my knowledge, Chris was talking about Tito, or he even thought of Tito. And, you know, I'd like to think that Tito picked up his ukulele, put it on his back, got on his little boat, picked the ukulele back up in his hands, and drifted off into the sunset, just playing his tunes for all the world to hear, trolling fat little cousins all over the world, and just spreading joy and cheer like a Hawaiian Santa Claus. Surfshack Tito, his story with Chris it's pretty short, but it's goddamn hilarious, and it's something I love going back to every now and again, and I hope you guys liked going back with me here, because it was really fun to talk about, and I hope you all enjoyed it. This very well could be the final video of 2022, and you know, I would be happy if it was, because there's no better time to go down memory lane, looking back at all the funny things we talked about all year, and realizing we forgot to talk about the one that was right in front of us the entire time, staring at us the entire time, smiling, playing his ukulele while we've sat here and watched all these videos. It was Surfshack Tito himself, and I hope you guys now have a little more knowledge about the big man if you've never really heard about him much before, and that's about it. So I'm going to get out of here, guys, but before I do that, I want to give shouts out to Vanessa, Cody Hale, Scaly Schisms, Echo Spectre, Feelin's Party Place, Churlish, Pythea, Your Mom, Krabby, Mick Surly, Adrian Lara, Sky Fitzpatrick, Alright Stingy, Isaiah, Blake Austin, G-Man, Gypsy Paul's Trademark, Cyrax's Stylist, Commander Louie, Justin S., the Ghostbusters fan, Steve from Machete Squad, Chef Meme Maker, Vaga, Italian Boy Advance, East, Chris Chan's Fanta Bottle, Pebra, SK Rux, Bullet BP, Kaitan, Synthesis, Music Biz Marty's Bong, Oinker, Fat Potato, Dan Noodles, Dr. Miasma Morbius, Emery King, Try Give Black Tiger, ATK Cast, Jason Breen, Philly B, Based Trucker, Club Doom, Jason Bradford, Jose Garcia, Robot Gorilla Man, Seal Currently, Jay Sorensen, Everborn, Eric Estrada, Akiba's Beat Fan, Gravy, Jurassic Clark, Burger Boy, Hillbilly Wizard, Sora Trash, the United States Department of Homeland Security, Hurricane Salem, and Trademark. You guys are all goats, and everyone who made it this far, you're a goat as well. Guys, the new year's fastly approaching, and I wish nothing but good shit for y'all in this upcoming year. For all of you and yours, man, just hope you guys have a great one. If you didn't have a good one this year, next one's going to be better. I keep saying that in the end of all these videos, but it's true. Just keep looking towards the future. Be happy about that shit, man, because good shit's right there, and it's close, and it's in your reach, and that shit's coming here soon. I know it may sound like really weird saying this at the end of these Chris Chan videos, but it's like this, you know? Think, you know, Chris fucked up. Chris did some really weird shit, and he's in jail, and he can't enjoy the holidays. And by y'all being like good people and not being in jail for doing what you did to your moms, which none of y'all did, you know, I wish the best for y'all for that. So you guys have a great life, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.